probably won't come out this year. At this point, like, I don't know, man. I'm just starting to lose a little faith, to be honest.
Wow!
Music is an album that exists. It's actually here. We can listen to it. For years, we've been hearing about this coming out. There have been different titles for it, pushbacks on the release dates, and it's actually here now. I'm just a little in disbelief still that it has been released finally. Obviously, it's an album by Playboi Carti. It's technically his third studio album. The self-titled project is technically a mixtape, so you go from Dial-It to Whole Lotta Red to now Music. This is his third studio album release. Coming more than 4 years after his last release, Whole Lotta Red, released on Christmas Day of 2020. It's been a while since we got new music from a new full project. It feels like a while, especially because of the pace that he was releasing music prior to this. To have this big gap was just surprising. I was surprised it took this long, but as the gap kept widening, I felt less and less surprised that each day was passing by and we weren't getting it, if that makes any sense at all. But nonetheless, I'm happy that it has come out and that I've been able to listen to it sometimes now. I generally really enjoy Playboi Carti's music. I totally understand why people don't like it, why people maybe don't even consider it music. Some pretentious music fans might say. I get it, I get the criticisms, but personally, I find him very entertaining as a performer, and the way that he delivers lines, the inflections in his voice. I think it's very impressive how he's able to change his voice, and often you could say use his voice as an instrument, like as kind of part of the backing instrumental. He's unlike any other rapper in that sense, at least in terms of mainstream hip-hop. It's hard to think of other rappers that are able to sound the way that he does and keep reinventing himself with each album, it seems. I like his stuff. I get that lyrically there's not much there. It's kind of trash, you could say, maybe, for lack of a better word, but again, it's entertaining, it's funny, his songs make me laugh a lot of the time, and I actually really enjoy the production often on his music. I feel like that's something that really does help quite a bit. If it was not as good, then maybe I wouldn't like his music as much, but luckily a lot of the beats are banging for his songs. This album is 30 songs long, 77 minutes in length. It's a lot. It's a lot of music. It's a lot of songs. And for the most part, I didn't mind it. I would not consider this album bloated. But it really does start to feel like a lot when we get to roughly the last 10 songs of the album. I feel like it really starts to drop off there. If it had ended around track 20 or so, I would have liked this album probably considerably more. On the whole, I don't mind it. I think, just if I'm cutting to my overall thoughts right away, I think that this is a decent album. I enjoy it. I enjoyed the experience of listening to it overall. But really, when we get to the last third of the album, I start to lose interest and start to get bored and kind of just wish that it would end already. Regarding the production, I do think that once again, Carti has assembled a really good and varied musical palette, mostly still in the trap region, but there are still several songs in here that do kind of push beyond basic mainstream trap sounds, such as the second track, Crush, with a feature from Travis Scott with those great choir vocals in the back. I love the sounds of those vocals and that hook that's repeated, that they repeat throughout the song. I really like it. Or a song like Cocaine Nose, seemingly picking up where Lil Uzi Vert seemed to have left off with the pink tape, going in a more rock heavy direction. I like that one quite a bit too. And then we have a very poppy cut right after that with We Need All the Vibes, with features from Young Thug and Ty Dolla $ign. A very pleasant and kind of cute song, but a good hook from Young Thug and a decent feature from Ty Dolla $ign. I like the song. It's, like I said, more poppy sounding, but I think it works. Carti's voice is changing a lot throughout this album. You never really know what you're going to get from song to song. He does the baby voice that we've heard a lot, and he also does this voice that it's more newly utilized over the last couple years. I believe was debuted on Theme from Travis Scott's Utopia. A more deeper sort of phlegm embellished vocal sound that he's developed there, which, I'm just going to be honest, I really don't like. I've never been a fan of this ever since he debuted it on Theme. I've never liked it. I also just don't like, that song's okay to me. I know everyone loves that song. It's fine. His feature is a big part of why I'm not a huge fan of it, though. And for the most part, I was really not digging it here on the songs. It just kind of broke some songs for me. Songs that I maybe would have liked had he chosen a different inflection to go with regarding his delivery. Let's talk about the features for a second. There are a lot of features on the album, but weirdly enough, not as many as I would have expected. There are 18 out of the 30 songs that just feature Carti himself. 60% of the album, over half of it, is just him. And I would say that I was pleasantly surprised by that, and I was happy about that. But I actually think that that's part of what holds it down, because a lot of that last third of the album is just him, and unfortunately he doesn't really have much to show for. I feel like a lot of those songs were just kind of sleepers and not really that good or as entertaining as some of the songs in the first 2/3. Kendrick Lamar is featured on the album not once, not twice, but 3 times. He's only credited on 2 songs, but the other one that he isn't credited on is MOJO JOJO, but we all know that's him. I remember first hearing this when the features were not listed, and it was crystal clear to me that that was Kenny on the mic. I really enjoyed all of his features, even though on MOJO JOJO he's mainly just ad-libbing and it's not really, doesn't really give us much in terms of a verse or verses in that song. But I liked all 3 of his features. My favorite would have been on Good Credit. A lot of good lines on that one from him, great one-liners, great rapping. That Luka Doncic line is one I enjoy in particular as a Lakers fan. Had this been a couple months ago, probably wouldn't have done as much for me, that line, but now it does. Side note, I actually almost made a video about that when that Luka Doncic Anthony Davis trade went down. I was just in utter disbelief when that happens. True story, I was on the toilet when I found out about it. Maybe I didn't need to say that, but I don't know, that's just one of those moments that we're all going to remember that, looking back where we were when we heard about that trade, us NBA fans at least. Yeah, that was crazy. I was about to make a video on it, but I talked myself out of it. But yeah, crazy time, wild times to be a basketball fan. We also get Travis Scott featuring on the album not once, not twice, 4 times, not even 3 times. He's on the album 4 times, and he's fine. He's not really as much of a standout to me as Kendrick, but his features are good. I liked him on Charge Them Hoes a Fee. Future on that song was really good too. That was a standout feature on the album for me. Really hard to say feature and feature in the same sentence and not say them the same way. It's harder than you think it would be. Like I said, I liked Young Thug and Ty Dolla $ign on We Need All the Vibes. The Weeknd's on Rather Lie was a good one. Nice to hear them teaming up again after they were both on The Weeknd's latest album. Carti still has quite a bit of good and catchy hooks on this album too from himself. Even on songs I don't like, there are still like some little catchy little parts and lines that he delivers because of the way he delivers them. One in particular I really like, and it's actually a song I like too. It's called I See You Baby Boy. That instead you want to be the one to lie to me part that he keeps repeating. So catchy, so infectious. That song sort of felt like a New Neon Part 2 to me. I feel like aesthetically they're sort of similar sounding. So guys, it's music. It's an album that has music on it that you can listen to. It's not misleading at all. You are about to play music when you click play on this album. Some people might consider that debatable, but I think it's a fact. It's music. It's called music, and what you get from it is music. And I think that it's good music. I think that this is a good album overall. It is definitely not perfect, not even close. It is flawed, but it had a lot of stuff I liked about it. It had a lot of songs I liked on it too, but there were also a lot of songs I didn't like. It's a very long album, quite a bit of good songs, quite a bit of bad songs too. So sort of a mixed bag, but I think feeling more so positive towards this overall music for me would get a 6.5 out of 10. What do you guys think of this? If you liked it, didn't like it, I would like to know. And then if you have any standout tracks as well, there's a lot of songs, a lot to pick from. So if you could just whittle it down to a few, what would your standouts be? The over 4 years was worth the wait for me. I'm glad that it finally came out and I got to listen to it. I'm glad that I was wrong in my anticipated releases of this year video where I was totally doubtful that this would come out. I'm glad that I'm eating my words now and I'm able to listen to this and review it for you guys. But speaking of words and eating, I'm tired of talking and I'm hungry. So I'm going to end this video now. Thank you all for watching and peace out.